Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are building a complete toolkit for personal development. But we're not just going to talk about simple advice. We're going to construct a whole system for real, lasting change, drawing from the science of emotion, resilience, and habits. So let's kick things off with a puzzle that probably sounds really familiar. According to the Mental Health Foundation, a huge 82% of us know that moving more is good for our mental health. We get it. And yet, over a third of us, 37%, struggle to actually find the time to do it. And that gap right there between what we know and what we do, that's where so many of our best intentions just fizzle out. So what's the deal? Why the disconnect? It's almost never about a lack of information. I mean, you know you should do something, but that doesn't mean you will, especially when stress shows up. See, stress hijacks the logical part of our brain, making it nearly impossible to follow through. The secret isn't knowing more, it's having a better system in place to put that knowledge into action, even when you're under pressure. And that is the exact system we're going to build together, right now, in 4 parts. First, we'll lay the foundation by mastering our inner world. Then, we'll build the framework for resilience. After that, we'll fire up the engine with the science of habit. And finally, we'll open up the toolkit with strategies you can start using today. Okay, part 1, the foundation. It all begins right here, inside our own heads. If we want to act on our goals, especially when we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, we first have to understand that powerful connection between our emotions and our actions. You know, a great way to think about emotional intelligence, or EQ, is that it's like learning to surf your emotions instead of getting wiped out by the waves. It's not about stopping the feelings, but about skillfully navigating them. This is what moves you out of that reactive fight or flight mode and puts you back in the driver's seat, where you can actually make a conscious choice. And EQ isn't just some vague concept. It's a real set of 5 skills that all build on each other. But look at number 1, the ability to quickly reduce stress in the moment. This is the master key. If you can't manage your own stress when it hits, all the other skills become incredibly hard to use. You master this, and you unlock the whole system. Which brings us to the most critical question of all. To make any change stick, you have to learn how to handle stress as it's happening, before it completely derails you. So how on earth do you actually do that? Here's a super simple but crazy effective technique from the Vanderbilt School of Medicine. Find a comfortable spot and just count down slowly from 10 to 0, 1 number for each full, deep breath. That's it. This simple act of controlled breathing basically flips the calm down switch in your nervous system. It lowers your heart rate and puts you back in control, ready to make a smart choice instead of a knee-jerk reaction. All right, so once you can manage your inner state in the moment, you can start building the bigger framework that helps you handle challenges over the long haul. And this is what we call resilience, the ability to bounce back. Now, the American Psychological Association defines it as adapting well in the face of adversity. But it's actually more than just bouncing back. True resilience gives you the chance for personal growth. It's about coming out of tough times not just okay, but stronger than you were before. So how do you build this? Well, research shows it stands on 4 key pillars. Let's walk through them. First up, and maybe the most important, is purpose. When you have a clear answer to why you're doing something, it gives you a motivation that goes way beyond a paycheck. It's your internal compass when the going gets tough. The second pillar is physical endurance. Now, this isn't just about being fit. It's about building a physical reserve that acts like a buffer against the constant drain of stress. Think of regular self-care and activity as charging up a power bank for your body and mind. Third, we've got mental toughness. You might know this by another name, grit. This is all about learning to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities. It's that mindset that lets you keep going under pressure and learn from failure instead of being crushed by it. And the fourth pillar, emotional balance. Well, this is where it all comes full circle. This is the ability to keep your cool during stressful times. And it brings us right back to our foundation, emotional intelligence. You can see how all these pieces are designed to fit together, right? They create this incredibly strong, resilient structure. Okay, so we have our foundation and we have our framework. But how do we make it all work without constantly having to force it? We need an engine, something to drive our progress automatically. And that engine is habit. At its core, every single habit you have runs on this dead simple 3-step loop. First, there's a cue, a trigger that tells your brain to go on autopilot. Second is the routine, the action itself. And finally, a reward, which tells your brain, hey, remember this. This was good. Your brain does this to save energy, turning actions into automatic routines. Cue, routine, reward. That's the blueprint. So how do you build a new habit using this loop? The key isn't some giant leap of willpower. Nope. It's the principle of marginal gains. The whole idea is that tiny 1% improvements, when you do them consistently, they compound over time into massive results. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be a tiny bit better today than you were yesterday. All right, part 4, strategies for change. We've got the foundation, the framework, and the engine. Now, let's open up the toolkit and put this whole system into practice. First tool out of the box is a classic for a reason, SMART goals. This framework is what turns a vague wish like, I want to be more active, into an actual concrete plan. By making your goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, you give yourself a crystal clear roadmap to follow. Our second tool helps you manage your energy and, maybe more importantly, just get started. It's called the Pomodoro technique. You just break your work into focused 25-minute chunks separated by short breaks. This makes huge tasks feel way less intimidating, and it fits perfectly with that start small idea of building habits. It's all about building momentum one focused burst at a time. Okay, let's bring this all home. Remember that knowledge-action gap from the very beginning? Let's apply our new toolkit to the top reasons people say they struggle to be more active. We're going to skip the weather for now, but let's tackle too tired and too busy. And this is where the magic happens. This is where our entire system comes to life. We can use our toolkit to dismantle these common excuses. Feeling too tired? Don't try for a huge workout. Use a tiny habit, just a 2-minute walk. The goal is just to be consistent. Feeling too busy? Use the Pomodoro technique to carve out just one 25-minute slot in your day. And if you're just feeling low and unmotivated, that's your EQ cue. Recognize that feeling, use that breathing exercise to calm the stress, and then take that first tiny step. Ultimately, what all this shows is that real growth isn't about some heroic one-time effort. It's about building a smart, interconnected system of small habits that all support each other. Your emotional regulation helps you start, your resilience framework keeps you going, and the science of habit makes it all automatic over time. This explainer has laid out the blueprint and given you the tools. So the only question left is, where are you going to begin? Forget about transforming your life overnight. Just ask yourself this: what is one small 1% improvement you can make today?